if your client's nail is ever burning, it's because your polymer, which is your acrylic powder, and your monomer, which is your liquid, are having a chemical reaction with each other, okay? The chain is linked and it is starting to create friction, which is making your client's nail hot. So to calm it down, you're going to grab your alcohol bottle and you're going to go ahead and squirt that on top of the nail that is burning, and you're going to rub it into the nail to calm it down and diffuse the heat. Just a little pro tip for y'all. Have a blessed day.
I have somewhat of a nail hack for you guys, and it has everything to do with charms. So you're going to get your charm, flip it over to the back of the charm, and drill the back side of that charm. So at first I'm thinking this will help the charm stay on the nail longer, of course, because you're buffing out the smooth surface of the charm. But because I drilled off a good bit of the charm, it helps it kind of flex a little bit. So I'm able to push it down and it wraps around the nail. So the bottom half of the bow isn't sticking out, and you don't have those gaps in between the charm and the nail. So you don't have like that snagging going on that you would normally have. So you can see here, it's flush to the nail and you don't have as many gaps. So yeah.
Nail hack that saves me so much time.
Alright, I'm going to show you the best ways to get rid of the monomer smell out of your room, and I'm going to give you out 3 different tips. So this tip right here, I don't hear many people talking about, but get a garbage can with a lid. Y'all do not understand the world of a difference it makes when you have a garbage can with a lid. Like, I didn't think it would make that much of a difference, but it makes such a big difference. Like, when I open this garbage can, it literally, like, the smell of monomer slaps me in the face. Alright, y'all, so tip number 2 is to get an air purifier. This air purifier is extremely expensive. I have a video on my page if you want to scroll down. Oh, not my curtain in the way. But this definitely was like $700 or $800, but it was worth it because I just really need it for the space I'm in. But get you an air purifier. It does not have to be this one. It can literally be a $50 one for Amazon. That's what I used to have. Tip number 3 is to use candles and incense to really mask the smell. It's obviously not going to mask it completely, but it's better than nothing.
Don't use alcohol to clean your stamper. It will become cloudy and unclear. Instead, cure your gel, then use Scotch tape to remove the cured gel. Easy and one of the best ways.
Girl, I know. I feel so smart. It's just an old gift card. And I just needed to clip this to the side of something, and the card was there and it worked.
If your nail tip is not sticking to the nail bed, even though you put glue on, there's a tip. Dip it into the liquid and then put glue on. You're welcome.
Hey nail techs, this life hack is for you. Take your polygel, cut it open. Then you're going to scoop it all out, grab a syringe, and scoop all that polygel into the syringe. Keep going until it's filled, and once it's filled, you have the perfect tool to get the perfect amount. You're welcome.
New nail hack. Put acetone on a lint-free wipe and use it as a buffer.
Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. As always, thank you for clicking on another video. Listen, it's been a minute, about a week. I hope you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. I hope that it was restful, joyful, all the things. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, hope you were able to get with family. I hope everything was just absolutely amazing. But guess what? Now it's time to get back to work. So what I thought that would be amazing to do is to show you guys I at least share with you guys tons and tons of tips that I've seen across the TikTok sphere. And I just think it's amazing to share tips and to find tips that will help you be more efficient, things that you didn't even know that you needed. So I wanted to make sure I shared those things with you guys because, like I say, it's time to get to the money. The holidays are among us. If you're a beauty professional, especially a nail tech, you know this is when we make our coins. So what better way to share with you guys, I guess, some knowledge. I would put together a couple of these videos, things that I did not know, things that I did know. Some of these videos will help you to get faster. Like, for example, this right here about cutting the emery boards. I don't know so much about that. There's a couple of tips here where it's a little questionable, just like the one tip that I interrupted you guys on about using the, what was it? The buffer, the acetone as a buffer. I don't know anything about that. I don't know how that works. Some of these things I am tempted to try to see how they work because I have never even heard of that. I am a buffer girl. Buffing with oil is what I do, so I know that that's a tip that works. But if you've tried any of these tips, or if you have any tips that will help us to move along a little bit faster, we want to produce quality products and, you know, just do the things. And if you are a DIY girl, these tips will also help you as well. You know, whenever we're learning as nail techs, as a matter of fact, we're always learning, but whenever we're learning new tricks and tips, we usually do them on ourselves, or we do them on, you know, fake nails or whatever. So this is for you guys too. But like I said, I hope everybody had an amazing time. I am going to interject in some of these videos, but I just wanted to share these videos with you. So you can play it back. You know I'm a yap a little bit at the beginning of the video just to say hey and to introduce and open up the video. But you can always go back and mute me and just watch some of these tips. Like this is a marbling tip that I think is absolutely amazing. Some of these tips you do have to sit down and you have to read them. So if I come on, it's because there's some weird music in the background. And I just want to let you guys know that I did try to isolate out as much music as possible. So you'll hear some weird noises in the background of some of these videos, but I felt like I needed to keep the video for the simple fact that even though the little weird noises in the background are there, the tips were definitely helpful and worth it for me to keep the clip in because I think that they're helpful. Like I said, below, if you have any tips, tricks, or anything that you like to share with the community, please do. Every day I'm learning new tips. Every day I'm learning new tricks. Every day I'm trying to find a way to be more efficient. So I know people keep saying faster, but let's think of it as being more efficient. Our clients want us to be efficient, right? Because they want to go home. And because, you know, the holiday season is coming up, if you're anything like me, you are super duper busy and you have quite a few clients and you want to make sure that your clients get to all their other appointments on time. You want to book out as many people as possible without being one of these ratchet nail techs that we learned about in my other videos. We want to be amazing nail techs, very classy, very professional. As you guys can tell, I miss you guys so much and I couldn't wait to come back and get a video to you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Like I said, I am going to come back because I do have some questions and I do have some comments on some of these hacks, as they want to call them. I don't look at them as just hacks. I look at them as just things that people have learned over the period of time that have helped them. So if those are what hacks are, then this is what this video is. It is a very long video. I suggest you go all the way to the end because there's tons and tons of good stuff in it. So I'll be back.
Guys, so I'm back with another hack that I found here on TikTok and I just wanted to share with you. Shout out to the girl who came up with this hack. The only problem that I had was she didn't tell us what it was called, so I didn't know what to look up on Amazon when I was looking for it. There's plenty of names, but weather stripping tape, and then look for the brush version. I'll be linking mine in my Amazon storefront, so it'll be a little bit easier for you guys to find. The main thing that caught my interest was that these could be completely disposable and they're going to stick to your glove, so you're not constantly reaching or looking for your brush while you're working. I just love the convenience, and it has been working wonders with all of my clients and saving me so much time throughout my appointments. In my opinion, if you were to cut these to the right size, you could really get your money's worth and it might be more cost effective. So yeah, I don't think I'll be going back to manicure brushes. I believe this is a more sanitary option. Maybe you should try.
How to get the perfect matte black nail. It's so simple. I'm mad I didn't think of it sooner. Instead of using a matte top coat, use a shiny one. I know it sounds crazy, but hear me out. All you're going to do is take a nail buffer and buff the shine off the top coat. Straight like that. Then apply some cuticle oil and massage it real good into the nail. And you're welcome.
I've had this recommended to me before, and to be honest, I've been doing this look for a really long time, and it just stresses me out having to top coat the bottom. But do you guys top coat the bottom of your clear nails? Let me know.
Hey boo, for this trick, all you need is a bar of soap. You're going to want to take a little bit of water, dampen your brush, and I just take it back and forth on top of the bar of soap until the bristles of the brush are stiff and hard. After pinching and prepping your brushes, you're going to want to do this step to train the bristles to stay put and flat. So all that the bar of soap is doing is just shaping and molding the bristles without ruining it. So you want to keep flattening the brush with your fingers until you're satisfied with the shape, and yeah, you're done. Here's how it looks after you reshape it using this method. After you're satisfied with the shape, you want to leave it like that overnight. And when you're ready to do a set, you want to clean it with a little bit of water, dampen in some monomer, and you're ready for work. Another trick is to use gel top coat and basically add a little bit of it at the tips of the bristles. And of course, use your fingers to flatten the brush. I hope this helps.
No colored acrylics for your ombre nails. Use gel.
Okay, so I had to interject here. This hack is actually an amazing one. This is a hack that I actually use, especially with marbling nails and ombre. If you do not have the color, this is definitely the hack to use. It works out beautifully. So this is nail tech approved. If you tried it, if you have even another way of doing it, we do these with foils and different things. So this is definitely one way to go if you don't have color acrylic and you want to do an ombre. So good tip.
My name is Shannon and I'm a certified nail tech, and welcome to my happy corner. Today I'm going to share some secrets that I just discovered, how to get rid of the monomer smell. I have to say, being a home-based nail tech, first thing I always hear from my family is, ew, you made the house smell so bad. So I'm going to show you how I fix that problem. Of course, I will be investing later down the road on ventilation, but as you know, ventilation is so expensive, so we gotta do what we gotta do. So the first thing I use is I turn on this Honeywell air purifier. I put it on turbo. It has like a turbo mode. It's actually really cool. My boyfriend got this for me, and the light detects when there is like harmful stuff that you're breathing in the room, and I guarantee this thing works because it goes on every time I use the acrylic. So I turn on this guy. The next thing I do to combat the smell is actually put one of these reversible window fans in the window. It really just kind of helps suck out all of the air, and what's great about it is because it's sucking out the air, you don't necessarily feel a draft from the window if it's cold outside. So it will help if you're freezing to not make you colder. Light a candle. Not anything specific, but right now we're feeling beach weather because I am so tired of this nasty cold weather. Lastly, I get a closed trash can and throw away my dental bibs in the trash can. I know this sounds ridiculous, but having the acrylic dental bib that you wiped all the monomer and stuff on just sit on the desk will really just permeate the room with that monomer smell. So throwing it away immediately after using it in a closed trash can really will cut down on the amount of smell that you will experience. See you next time.
This might be the coolest thing I found at the nail supply in a while. It's a buffer that saves your fingers. If you're like me, you be all scrunched up. Yeah, you need this.
Have you ever sent your clients to go wash their hands and they come back with the same amount of acrylic residue and the same amount of dust on their fingers? Let me show you a trick. Apply some cuticle oil after you're fully filed and buffed. You can even let it sit for a while. After that, there's this drill bit. It's like a brush. I'm going to leave the name in the comments. And you brush around their cuticles and under their nails. And I promise this is a lifesaver, you guys. It doesn't hurt your clients at all. This makes your work look so much cleaner. It makes your photos look more appealing, which helps with your clientele. I promise your clients will love the final results.
Okay, I know I had to come through and show my nail tech besties this little trick I found off of somebody off of TikTok. I think it was either TikTok or Instagram. And she was just doing her set and she kept dipping her brush into her container. And I was just like, what's that? Like, what's that thing in your container? And she told me it was a cotton ball. And I believe she did this because it helps with the amount of monomer that you get on your brush. And you know I had to come try it. So let me show you right quick. Basically, you're going to pour your monomer in your container, get a little piece of cotton ball, put it inside, and then you're going to take your brush. Hold on. Take your brush, just put it on top of the cotton ball. See that? Look. It's like the perfect amount. Before this, I would get too much monomer on my brush, and it'll just be like too much for my bead, for my acrylic. So with the cotton ball inside, I just dip it on the cotton ball and it gets the perfect amount. Get your monomer, dip it in your acrylic, and it's perfect. If you guys try it, let me know.
So do y'all remember the little hack that was going around to make a custom color of acrylic with the gel? So I decided to do that because my client wanted this nail set right here and I did not have a colored acrylic. So I'm going to use the D&D 741 color. It's darker than what she wanted, and that's just because the monomer lightened the gel polish up. So I just add in a little bit of that and I mix it in really well until there is no more gel on the brush that I'm using to mix it in. I definitely do recommend using a color that's darker than what you want, because when you use the monomer and the acrylic, it's going to make it a little bit lighter. Another tip is if you want the color to be more translucent, use clear. But as you can see right here, I'm going to be using Super White by Nail Supply Glamour because I want the color to be a little bit more opaque. So this is the first time that I tried this, and as you can see here, the color was very light. It was very, you weren't really able to see it too much. So I did go in and add a little bit more of the gel, and I did the same thing, added a few drops, mixed it in until the gel was off of the brush, and then you're going to see me test it out and get the color that I desired from the beginning. So another piece of advice I would give is to cap it in clear after you do it, just because with filing, I do find that it's more soft than regular. I don't know if it's because of the gel that's added, but this was the
A recurring question that I frequently get on my lives when I'm showing nails is, what am I using to clean off the nail in prep and also to take off gel polish off of the skin if you get gel polish on the skin? So here's the general rule of thumb. If you're working with gel polish, you want to use isopropyl alcohol, preferably 99% isopropyl alcohol. If you're working with regular polish, you want to be using acetone. So as I'm getting these nails ready, I am going to take a lint-free wipe and spray 99% isopropyl alcohol and rub it into the nails. I've also put isopropyl alcohol into my dapping dish. And I am doing this step after I've told my client to wash their hands. And I asked them to use a manicure brush, soap, and water. So what I'm doing in this step is taking off any of the oil residue that might have been still on the nail from the soap. And also, I am going in with my cleanup brush with the isopropyl alcohol and going into the cuticle area and all the little crevices to make sure that there's no dust or lint from potentially the towel that they use to dry their hands, or if they touch a jacket or something like that. This is going to ensure a smoother polish application. So remember, when dealing with gel, use alcohol. When dealing with regular polish, use acetone.
Clap fingers grow pointing downward. Here's how to do acrylics on them. Cut down the nails to be as low as possible. The finger would still point down with a nail tip. We need it straight. Use a sculpting form for a straight-looking finger to be achieved. When fitting the form to the nails, be careful to avoid fitting it downward. Fit the form pointing straight so that when you turn the nail to the side, it looks like this. Apply primer and begin to sculpt the acrylic powder. If the clap finger has a short nail bed, it's best for the acrylics to be short to avoid nail accidents. Also, a removal or an infill is advisable after 2 weeks to avoid a lot of stress on the nail bed once the extension starts to grow out. Once done, you can see that the finger is pointing straight as against pointing downward. File, shape, and do designs if any, and that's all.
Watch this if you want to learn what to do when a client's finger is crooked. This is me measuring the angle from my client's knuckle. I'm repeating it a couple times too. Make sure I'll glue the tip straight, since it'll be an illusion. Press it and hold, baby. This edit shows what the nail could look like if I applied the nail tip in the direction of the nail. And this is what the effect would look like after applying the nail tip straight down the knuckle. It definitely helps. Here's another angle. I hope it helps.
Hey, y'all, me again, interjecting again. So this is actually a really, really good tip. However, you do want to make sure you ask your client before you do this, because some people are kind of funny about, the things that they have as far as, insecurities. So they may love this for them, but if you and your client decide that this is the best way to go in order to make their nails look straight and they agree, then yeah, perfect tip.
So you know how sometimes you'll try to glue a tip down and it just won't stick, like it keeps it bouncing up, then the glue gets everywhere and it's dumb and you get frustrated and you be looking at the glue like, I know you're not trying to embarrass me in front of my client. Well, this is what you gotta do, okay? Just see, oh, look at that, just sliding off. Ew. Anyway, so what you gotta do is get some of this resin activator. I go through bottles of this stuff until I find some tips that'll stick, and just one little spray, stick it on there and you wouldn't even know it never stuck before. And you go about your business as usual. I've never had any issues with it. So yeah, 10 out of 10 would recommend.
Runny acrylic. Add a little bit of acetone to the monomer for better polymerization.
Me again. So yes, this is an amazing tip. However, be very careful. You want to make sure you don't just go around putting a whole bunch of acetone inside your monomer, because you will set yourself up for failure. Make sure you test this out prior to putting it on the client's nail. You don't want no surprises.
Oh my god, my picture frame fell on my nail desk and cracked. But I remember that I'm in my nail studio, so I feel like I could maybe fix this. And it was raining outside, so I didn't want to go out to buy a new picture frame. And so I was looking through my drawers, and I was going to use top coat at first, but I realized top coat has such a thin consistency that it might not bind the wooden pieces together, because this is made out of wood. So my second option was using hard gel, and I tried hard gel right here, but it came out too sticky and I don't want to leave a sticky residue. So then my last option was using rhinestone gel, because we usually use rhinestone gel to adhere bigger charms, and I feel like it could have worked, but I was feeling a little skeptical just because it is wood. But in the end, I put on a lot of rhinestone gel and it ended up staying put, so I didn't have to go buy a new one. And honestly, from far away, you can't even tell that this is crap.
Hi queens! Here's some tips and tricks on how to get faster nail tech addition. So obviously repetition is key. As time progresses, you're going to get better and better. And of course, a lot of that has to also do with technique. Once you start mastering which technique works best for you, you'll be able to work quickly. But the number one thing I do want to start off with that I used to struggle with a lot when I first started in this industry was having to go over steps again and again. Being repetitive in a sense that was not going to help me in any way, shape, or form. And let me explain. For example, prep work. I used to go over the same steps over and over and over again, trying to perfect it. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with being a perfectionist. Shit, I still am. But having to go, for example, you're trying to buff the nail, and you're trying to buff every little corner. It was honestly done right the first time. Do not go over again and again and again. Or cutting the cuticles. You cut it right the first time. Focus on trying to cut the cuticles as precisely as you possibly could. Worst case scenario, you're still feeling like you're slowing down. Try the ball bit. If you go on Amazon, they have it for super cheap. I want to say it's probably about $8 max. You can get the ball bit. It's considered a Russian manicure. Pretty much you're cleaning up the cuticles just with the ball bit. That actually works even faster than having to cut it with cuticle nippers or cuticle scissors. So the next thing I want to point out is know which drill bit to use and when. So for example, if you're going to start with having to prep, I used to waste so much time with having to use, I want to say it was a fine grit. That's actually going to cause a lot of lifting issues. You need to create enough friction on the nail so that way whenever, or I guess a rigid base, so that way you have enough friction from when you're laying the acrylic. So whenever I'm prepping the nail, I always use a medium grit disposable sanding bit. It's perfection when it comes down to having to, do the natural nail. Obviously, you're going to apply very light pressure because you do not want to cause any harm to the natural nail. When doing soak-offs, you're going to want to use a very bulky bit. I have one that's called a tornado bit. I may end up showing you perhaps in another video. Or if you actually go through all of my older videos, you may end up seeing it. But I use a tornado bit. It's very coarse. And when I tell you I have cut down my soak-off time from 30 minutes to 15, I mean, it's amazing. So honestly, educating yourself on what drill bits to use is 100% key to going faster. Next thing is time. So when I mention time, people used to tell me, oh, keep a clock there on the corner and go ahead and Track how long you take to do every step. Yes and no. In the beginning, you may want to do that just to kind of get an idea of how long it does take for you to currently prep. But don't be looking at that time constantly, because honestly, you cause yourself anxiety, and the next thing you know, you're actually moving much slower than what you want to. The more time that passes, the better you're going to get. But whatever you do, do not compare yourself to anyone else, because everyone works at a very different speed. I myself have been doing nails for 2.5 years. You have seen my work, and I still take a minimum of 2 hours, okay? So don't worry about it. Keep practicing. You'll do just fine, okay, queens? Have a good one.
My biggest flex when doing nails is that my clients always say that I am freaky fast. It takes me about an hour and a half max for any client. Even if I'm doing a lot of artwork, I know nobody wants to sit in my chair that long. So there are things that I take my time on and things that I move a lot faster on. Number 1, soak off. You just start drilling as fast as possible. To debulk, it doesn't need any precision. You're just debulking the nail. When it comes to dehydrators and primers, do it really fast. Why do you have to take 3 seconds on each nail? 1 second, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. So that's 10 seconds. Another thing I move quickly on is buffing. Buffing requires no precision. You just need to buff the nail, add a little bit of texture, and move on. When it comes to polishing, the first layer, you do it quick. And then the second layer, you make sure you are taking your time. So little things like that is where I am moving really quick so that I can focus on the more detailed things that matter. Like shaping, cuticles, sealing the cuticle. Small details that make a huge difference.
Hey nail fam, it's your girl Brianna, nail tech and blogger, and I'm back and I'm bringing you a nail tip for the day. Now, I don't know if you know this, but it is so challenging pouring acetone into another bottle. So what I did is I took my cuticle pusher, I held it in the middle of the bottle, and I poured the liquid on top of the cuticle pusher. And what that does is it just helps the liquid have a guide to go down into the bottle. Now, I don't know if you knew this, but if you didn't, make sure you share this with a friend, because this is such an easy tip and hack that I think everybody should know. That way, we're not wasting product.
To teach you a little tip that I learned as a beginner. When using a new sanding band, you want to leave a little bit of space to make it easier to get into the cuticles. Once you turn on the file, you're going to go ahead and shave down the tip of the sanding band to make sure that there's no sharp edges and you don't cut your client. I hope that this helped you.
Sharp under Frenchie is every girl's dream. If your Frenchies look like this and you want them to look super sharp like this, then what you're going to do is pretty much you're going to take your favorite file. I'm taking the Babe Bar 100 grit file, and it is a peel and stick. You're pretty much all you're going to do. This is so easy. You're going to file the underside of the nail without taking away too much of the actual color and the width of the nail. You're going to file up, so that it takes away all of that fuzzy and that gross undernail look. It's up to you whether from here you want to go in and buff after the file. Sometimes I like to, sometimes I don't. I'm just going to dust it off, and you can see how much sharper it already is. This is going to give you the absolute cleanest French tip in the entire world. I'm telling you, I can't believe I let my clients walk out before without doing this step, but I highly recommend. I love you guys. I hope this tip will help you for all of your future nail clients, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
I'm going to share 3 tips on how I do fast and efficient structured gel application. First, gravity. I say this all the time. Gel flows with gravity. That's why I flip the nails and bring them to the center so it doesn't flow on the side. Number 2, light reflection. Gel is clear and shiny. With the right light reflection, you can actually see the dents of the nail where it needs more product. Third, quick flash cure. Securing the gel the way you apply so it doesn't flow around within a second would help you less filing and less drilling. I hope my little tips help any nail artist out there so they don't give up on their dream. If you guys want to learn anything from me, comment below. I will try my best in my ability.
Everyone's always asking me how I'm able to fit in so many girls during the week and how I work so fast. So one big tip is I always have my clients send me an inspo picture the day before their appointment. So an hour before all of my appointments start, I go ahead and set up for each and every set that I'm going to do. So I go ahead and take out everything that I'm going to need for each set, and I really dissect each picture, and I'm like, okay, this set needs this, this, and that. I have all the acrylics set out, all of the powders and everything, and I do this for every single set. So today I'm having 5 sets, and I went ahead and set up for all of them. And I'm telling you, this will save you so much time. That is why I'm able to get girls in and out. It's the biggest lifesaver ever. But yeah, I do this an hour before all my appointments.
Right now, you're a beginner nail tech taking 3 to 4 hours on one set, and you want to learn how to be faster. Hi, my name is Mackenzie, and I help beginner nail techs. One thing I learned with being a nail tech is being faster comes with time and experience. You can't just be fast right off the bat. One thing that made me get a lot faster was nailing my application. You really want to nail that ratio of monomer to acrylic. You really want to help yourself, like when you're doing the application, by not flooding the cuticle and staying within the nail tip. What also helped me work faster is I cut out some unnecessary steps. One unnecessary step for me is like not shaping the tip unless it has the acrylic on it, because girl, you're gonna do it anyways. Why do it twice? You know what I mean? Another thing I don't do that some people do is buff the nail. Only sometimes when I'll buff the nail is like when I'm using chrome or something, but usually I don't buff the nail because I can get the design without buffing it. No problem. Of course, other people might say otherwise, but that's just what I do. Okay, so don't come for me. Being a beginner nail tech and taking forever can definitely discourage you, but don't let it, because we all got to start somewhere and we're all slow at the beginning. I used to take like 5 hours on a set, like I'm not even kidding, and I would literally sit there for 5 hours doing that because I wanted to do this. Now it takes me about an hour and a half to finish a set, but like I said, it came with time and practice. I didn't start off like this. If y'all have any questions, just feel free to let me know in the comments below. Bye.
Hey y'all, so I am currently just playing with some acrylic right now, and I wanted to show you guys my dental bibs that I recently purchased from Amazon for $16. So the monomer spilled through right here, but it is actually completely dry, and it is because there is a film on the back. But yeah, I honestly recommend them 100%.
If you have leftover monomer, you can just pour it right back into the bottle, right? Wrong. No, step away from the bottle right now. Reusing dirty monomer is going to do nothing but make your nail sets pop right off. And you never want to pour your monomer down any type of drains. You want to soak it up with a cotton ball and throw it in the garbage. Monomer will destroy your pipe, so please do not do that. No one ever told me that when I was a beginner. I always used to reuse dirty monomer, and I would pour my monomer down my sinks. I figured if no one told me, probably no one told y'all either, but y'all know I got y'all. Now for the final step, I really like my dishes to be clean, so I just put acetone in there and re-clean it with a cotton ball. I do this after every single set I do. It's always good to get yourself in a habit of making sure that all your nail tools and nail products and nail table is clean before you leave your nail room. Whenever I would leave my nail room a mess, I would never want to go in there again to make nail content. It would just be so discouraging. I would look at it like, who locked up in here? Who was on the closing shift hours when it was really me? It was all me.
Girl, secret sauce type shit. If you prep correctly, when you put your dehydrator on, it will look like that. Dry and crusty than a motherfucker. I follow up with the Mia Secret Primer, and then I go in with the Young Nails Protein Bond in that order for bomb ass retention.
It used to take me 5 hours to do 5 nails, not 5 sets of nails. 5 individual nails used to take me 5 hours. Now I can complete a full set in maybe an hour 30 minutes, depending on the set, of course. So here are a few tips that I have using a larger brush. I think beginners usually start with like size 10 or maybe even size 8. I don't recommend using size 8s for trying to do full sets of nails. The bigger the brush, the bigger the capacity to hold material. If you have a small brush, you're only going to be able to pick up a small amount of liquid and a small amount of powder, thus giving you a small bead. Then you have to work in smaller sections, making it take even longer for you to complete your application. The size that I would recommend is anywhere from 12 to 18. If you are a beginner, I would say start smaller and work your way up. So maybe start with like a size 14, paying attention to the temperature of your work environment. Acrylic is what I like to call temperature sensitive. More specifically, your monomer. When monomer is hot, it can make the acrylic cure way faster than you want it to. When it's cold, your acrylic can be runnier and wet for longer. What you can do to mitigate this is if it's too cold, you can use a wax warmer on a low setting to heat up your monomer by placing the dampened dish on top of the wax warmer. And if it's too hot, you can essentially make a double dampened dish. So you have your monomer in the dampened dish, and then you put the dampened dish inside of a bowl, and the bowl contains like ice cold water. Cut out unnecessary steps. I was literally filing all of my press-on tips to rough up the base, and there was no reason for me to be doing that because I wasn't doing gel press-ons. If you are doing gel press-ons, that might be more suitable for you because you're giving the gel something to stick to, but acrylic is not going to be peeling off of the plastic tip, so there's no need to file the entire tip. Another unnecessary step might be shaping before you do any application. So if you just have a clear plastic nail tip, let's say you cut it into stiletto shape. As long as you have sort of an guideline of what your stiletto shape is going to be, you don't need to make it perfect and crispy because you're just going to end up reshaping it once you lay the acrylic. This one is going to work specifically for artists who are going to be working on actual hands. Before your client arrives, try to figure out all of the tools that you're going to need for their set and have them ready to go, so that way you're not having to stop and look for things as you're working. My favorite tip for you getting better at nails, faster at nails: invest in good products. Using an acrylic powder that is giving you a hard time is going to make your process so much longer because you're going to spend more time trying to fix whatever issues the powder is having rather than actually doing your designs. So it's best to just go with products that actually work. Acrylic powder is not something you can cheap out on. Those are my tips for how to get faster at nails, whether it's regular nails or press-ons. If you have any other tips that our fellow nail artists could use to improve their speed, leave them in the comments.
Are you struggling with getting your nails to last long? Well, I have the secret to some bomb retention, so keep watching. First things first, file down the shine of the nail. Then I go in with 1 coat of the Mia Secret Nail Dehydrator. Then I do 1 coat of the Mia Secret Extra Bond. And this is the holy grail right here, the Young Nails Protein Bond. I go in with 2 layers of this, and then I proceed with my regular application, and girl, your nails will not come off. Thank you all for watching. Bye!
A lot of nail techs have a lot of intricate prep routines. Baby, I do not. My prep routine takes me like maybe 5 minutes, if not less. All I do is go on a speed 3 with a 240 grit Madro bit and just remove all the shine. This is really what's going to make sure that you have good retention. I want to show you how I do it, so I'm getting you a little zoom in action. I make sure to completely rough up the surface. Like, I do not miss any spots. I turn my drill every which way. I make sure to get in the crevices. I make sure to get into all of the spots. The purpose of this is so that the acrylic and the primers and everything else will adhere to it properly. By doing this, it creates think of like a rough, it makes it rough, right? And then the acrylic grasp onto that. If it's soft and smooth and you miss a spot, it's not going to grasp onto that part. So if you're having problems with lifting, you're having problems with your retention, whatever the case is, it could be this part. I really make sure to get onto the cuticle area and on the sides because that's where lifting starts. So I make sure especially not to miss those parts whatsoever. Another thing that can cause lifting or retention issues is sealing the cuticles, but this is definitely one of the reasons right here.
Okay, nail techs, I learned this hack a few days ago on Instagram, and I wanted to share it with you all on here also because I feel like it can be very helpful. So if you're doing artwork and you are needing a chrome polish, but you don't have chrome polishes, all you have to do is add a little bit of chrome powder to a gel top coat and mix it together. Once you get it all mixed together, it looks and works the same way as a chrome polish does that you can buy from Amazon or something like that. I know most nail techs already have a lot of chrome powders just sitting around, so this is very helpful. You're able to utilize those chrome powders when you need them, and you don't have to waste money trying to get a whole line of chrome polishes that you may not even use that often.
Look at this. Oh, perfect. You're telling me that if I accidentally spill caviar beads, I can use a magnet? I have an empty container. Let's see if this works. And if it does, the amount of times I could have done this. Let's see if it works. It's not working. Try a different magnet. Yeah, no, not working. It's not working! I have more than one set of caviar beads, so let's give this a try with these. Oh, it works with these from Red Iguana, but now here's the thing. I have to get this off the magnet because I didn't pick this up the right way.
the hell? You know, all the times that so it doesn't work with all caviar beads. Because these beads that I have in here that I've had for a while, the magnet doesn't work. But the ones from Red Iguana, the magnet trick works. Now I just have to get these off of here and back in the container. Wish me good luck. They always say work smarter, not harder. You know, if I only knew this earlier, this little trick is nail tech approved. It does work, but it won't work on all types of caviar beads, as you saw in my little experiment.
Things that new nail tech should definitely get. You're going to need a hand rest, some really good gloves, and they're latex free. I also do size up because I have nails on. It allows extra room. Some square tips, most definitely. Non-C curve, but you can also go with C curve as well. If you're on a budget, shape them into literally any shape. Good e-file, cuticle oil, duster brushes. Mine is very old, as you guys can see. I'm definitely due a new one. Disposable files, you have to throw these away after every client, so you need a lot of these, right? Just getting a gooseneck phone holder, a tip cutter, an acrylic brush. This one is a really cheap one from The Edge, and it's size 10 oval. A really good nail glue, a great primer, Mia Secrets Extra Bond, and then Young Nails Protein Bond. I mean, no lifting. A monomer, and an amazing top coat that's hella shiny, lapping dish, a good acrylic powder, core ones that are nude, then you may need a clear and a white. Need some gel polishes. Top 3, Born Pretty, Madam Glam, and Macart or Beetles. Pink disposable masks. You don't have to get pink, of course, but you definitely need masks because you don't want to be breathing in this monomer and stuff every day. You will faint. I hope this really helped someone. If you want me to do a part 2, just let me know and I'll get to it.
Y'all ever had a client with a wide nail bed and it didn't fit none of your tips? Okay, this is my client today. There's a size 0 and it clearly did not fit. So I'm going to show you how to finesse it. Start by placing your nail tip to whichever side of the wall you like, not in the middle. You side above, cut another nail tip, same size, almost in half, kind of just to fit the corner. Make sure it is going to overlap on the other nail tip. And then, complications. If you a nail tech, you know the pain. So I had to restart, but that's okay. Okay. So did the same thing, new method, put the glue onto the nail tip this time. And then since it doesn't glue all the way down, you just fill it in with the glue there. Make sure to do this on top and underneath the nail. It helps seal it all together. And then I just go ahead and shape my file. Y'all can watch how I file these nails because they come out very much tea. Okay. Y'all need to book with Nails by Lani. Okay. I don't play. I get down with the good down. So shape is T. I will probably make like tutorial videos on how I shape, but this is how I finessed it. This is my shape. Go book now, Pooh. Bye.
I have a little bit of time before my next client, so I'm going to show y'all how I have my setup so I can record. So I got this tripod. It's on the TikTok shop. I'm going to link it down below. And I will put her like, depending on what I'm recording, I'll put it like this. So it can be like right here. Let me show y'all the angle right now. Okay, my phone is in now, and this is how it is. Oh, don't mind my crusty, dusty hands, but this is how I have it recorded. And my light, I got it on Amazon. It's linked in my Amazon storefront. And this one is cool because you can, like, extend it out, and it can be up, and I can, like, rotate it so I can have it, like, right on top if I wanted to. Or it also sits, like, at an angle, so I can have it, like, at an angle. I'm going to show y'all how I have it for my toes. This is where I will put it, and I'll have it just like this. So the toes are right here. Oh, not the water. And whenever I'm recording, I usually record like one finger at a time. So it's usually the pinky on their left hand or the ring finger on their right hand or their thumb, depending if they like cooperate with me. But yeah, that's how I record.
You guys, I finally got the magnets that you guys told me about. So I went ahead and got these off of Amazon. They're going to be in my Amazon storefront. But I got these because you guys were saying I was taking too long to cut down my tips. And I have tried them and I love them. Break them off where you feel like you need. And then go ahead and cut all 10 fingers down. And it helps save so much time.
Are your nail sets taking way too long to do? If so, I have a few tips for you. So before applying your nail tips, you want to measure each nail tip sidewall to sidewall, and then you want to etch the underside of the tip, and you can either etch it by a chemical etch, or you can go in with a sanding band to etch the underside. And after that, you can apply all your nail tips in one go instead of measuring and then applying and then measuring and then applying. And in this clip, I did a 2-finger application all under 1 minute, and usually one hand would take me only 5 minutes. This is why I love doing Gel X nails, because it saves me so much time on shaping, and basically once I'm done applying all 10 fingers, all I need to do is just seal the cuticle, sharpen up the shape, and buff the surface, and then I'm ready to paint. So this is how my application came out. We went for a spring floral set, and this inspo is from Amy's clients on IG, and I think the set turned out so cute.
So you didn't clean your paint palette fast enough and it dried up? Well, you don't gotta throw it away anymore. All you need is some cuticle nippers and just use those to pry off the 3D gel or the polish off. And that's really it. So you're welcome. You just saved $8.
Hey babes, if you have a desk that is not acetone resistant and you constantly have to have something to protect it, I highly recommend getting one of these mats. It covers a pretty good area of desk, and the best part is it is acetone resistant. So if you pour a little bit of acetone or if it falls, you don't have to worry about it, because it doesn't discolor, and it does look a little off right here, but once it dries it goes back to the original color. Definitely recommend if you are just wanting to protect your desk from any spills or any accidents. Check it out. Mwah.
Let me show you how to get that nice crispy free edge. I love this look on nails. It's actually easier than we think. What you're going to do is, instead of clipping like this, see how when we clip straight with the nipper, it gives us that round kind of edge. Okay, here's how we're going to get that kind of crescent moon. You're going to turn your nail clipper in that upward direction, cut it like this. Watch, watch, watch. So good. Look at that. That's how it's going to help you to get the final look to look like this. Okay, love you. Bye, everyone.
Hey beginners, let me show you what not to do. Place a bead, tap down, and then drag it all the way to the free edge. That's a big no-no, because as you can see, I made it spill to the sides. Now I'm fighting with this bead, trying to keep it in place, cleaning the cuticle area. But at the same time, what I'm really doing is creating premature lifting to the naked eye, because this will cause your nails to lift sooner than they should. Instead, we're going to place a bead, tap down gently, push back, flush into the cuticle area, but at the same time, bring this bead to its original oval shape. So as I'm pushing and flushing, I'm creating a secure application. The whole time, I'm just pushing in and pushing down, pushing in and pushing down. Once I reach the smile line, I'm now going to drag it to the free edge of the nail, because I've secured the whole cuticle area and I've flushed the whole time without it spilling and creating early lifts. I hope this is helpful for you guys. Bye.
I think I found the easiest and fastest way to apply chrome. My method doesn't involve a matte top coat or any buffing at all. It's actually quite simple and so time efficient. First, you will need a base coat. I've tried a couple brands, but my favorite is Kuba's Gel Base. You'll also need Young Nail Swipe. I'm pretty sure this is just acetone and alcohol mixed together. Have a couple lint-free wipes on hand. And last but not least, a non-white black gel color. I use Overdrive by Young Nails, and she has not failed me yet. Makeup applicator is optional. You can also use a silicone stick. First, make sure your nail is completely covered in your base coat and cure for at least 30 seconds. Once it's out of the lamp, take your lint-free wipe and some Young Nail Swipe and wipe off all the tacky layer off that base coat. Make sure you take all the tackiness off. You know it's ready when it sounds like this. With the liner brush, I'm going in with that black gel to create whatever design you need. Cure up to 60 seconds. Once it's out of the lamp, it should be ready to go. It's only sticking to the black, and the rest of the chrome brushes away so flawlessly. Look at her. Top coat to finish, and you are all set. Absolutely no buffing involved, and this method has saved me so much time.
Applying crystals, a pixie death. I apply rhinestone gel, then sprinkle on the crystals. You don't want to dip their nail in the jar for sanitation reasons and to prevent the gel from moving and mirroring. Then I push the crystals into the nails so the gel really holds onto the crystals rather than just being layered on top. Then I push it into the shape as well to keep it looking nice and crisp. Once done with that, cure for 1 minute or longer, then it's finished.
So hopefully you guys are still here. Listen, these caviar beads are the worst. And I'm wondering, did she not put any acrylic under these? Because I cannot stand the caviar beads because I feel like they bulk up the nails. So I don't care what the tip she is giving you. I would not recommend them unless your client asks for them because stuff gets caught in. Just don't do them. Don't do them. That's the trick.
Lots of nail techs struggle with getting straight lines. So here is a tip for you. Break a toothpick into 2 places. Dip them inside the spider gel. Join them together, separate them, and you will get a stretch of spider gel. Now place that on the spot where you want to have your line. Now the spider gel will serve you as a guide in getting your straight line.
Hi guys, here's a little hack I use to get really crisp and fine lines. So I'm going to start off by putting base coat onto the nail and then curing. When I do apply the base coat first, I find that the polish is just a lot more full coverage, which is very visible in the video. I got a little bit of polish on her, but nothing some acetone couldn't fix. If you're a nail tech, you know that when you don't buff out the nail super well and there's still a little bit of scratches, the polish can kind of separate. So here you're going to see it just glides over the nail and I'm able to get that really fine line. And I don't even have to go over it a second time. Anytime I'm doing polish around the cuticle, I like to use base coat just because it applies a lot smoother and it helps me avoid getting polish into those little crevices. But I hope this hack helps you guys. The white polish is also from Nail Prof.
One of the most common questions I get as a Gelux nail tech is, how are you so fast? So here are a few tips and tricks I use to deliver fast and quality nail services. First, ask for your client inspo prior to the appointment. This allows you to mentally create a game plan so that you and your client aren't sitting down wasting time figuring out what to do. If it's an unfamiliar design, practice the night beforehand so the appointment goes smoothly. Next, keep all your implements and material at an arm's reach. This includes acetone, drill bits, implements, file, buffers, and brushes. My top drawer holds all my necessities. These are just things I use for every single client. This includes my base and top coat, primer dehydrator, nail glue, base colors, lint-free wipes, and sanding bands. Moving on to prep and application. This process combined takes me about 30 minutes. If you like a more in-depth tutorial on them, I have a few videos posted up already. So definitely check those out. The majority of the appointment is dedicated to design. Depending on the design, it can take up to 30 to 45 minutes, even up to an hour. Common designs such as French tips usually take me less than 30 minutes to complete. But of course, the more details and colors, the more time. The only time I ever go over 2 hours is when a soak off is included in this service. Finish off with cuticle oil and nail fees, and then I send the client on their way. I honestly follow all the same steps I see on TikTok tutorials, but these tiny little details definitely helps me in the process. Always remember that time is money, but quality is the most important. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know what else you guys would like to know.
I have been doing the Aura nails wrong this whole time, but now I'm going to show you guys a better way. So after you cure your base color of choice, you're going to get out some matte top coat, put 1 coat of that down, and then cure it for 15 seconds. I used to cure it for 60 seconds, but yeah, that's not right. And then you're going to get out a fluffy brush. To be honest with you, this is actually a cheap eyeshadow brush that I found randomly. So I'm using this. Get your pigment powder. And then instead of dabbing on the nail, go in a circular motion on the nail to create that aura design. And you make it as big as you want it. Go back in, get some more of that pigment powder, and then focus more in the center to make the center darker or more pigmented. Once you're satisfied with the look of it, you're going to go ahead and wipe off your brush. Get that pigment powder off of there. And then blend out the edges of the aura nail design. Make sure that it's nice and smooth and blended evenly. And then this is what it looks like. It really looks good right here. But if you want your aura design to be a little bit more pigmented, you can go in with another coat of that matte top coat. Cure for 15 seconds again, and then do everything all over again with your pigment powders. And then that makes it more pigmented. Then boom, you put a top coat on top of that, and then you have your aura nail design. It looks so good. Look how smooth and blended that looks. You literally have an airbrush look without the airbrush.
Guys, this is the coolest trick ever. If you're really bad at Gelux nails like I am, and you're always splitting it and leaking all of your cuticles, This is like the best hack. Literally, all you do is put the gel X extension on your nail as normal, but don't put it close to the cuticle. Just do it slightly higher up, so there's just like a little gap. As you can see, I'm flash curing each nail individually for about 10 to 15 seconds, just so it doesn't pop off. Just doing the last one here now. And then afterwards, they'll all go in a big lamp together for about a minute. Okay, now they're all dry, I'm gonna file them with a sanding band on like a medium speed. I think this is about 8,000 RPMs, maybe 9,000. And basically we just want to smooth it all out so you don't have that little lip where your natural nail and the fake nail meets. Okay, now here's where the magic happens. I'm gonna get a natural builder gel. I'm using the one from Glossify in the color Rose. And then you're just gonna fill in the nail as if you're doing like a normal infill. And guys, you've basically just done a full set of Gel X extensions, but without the mess and all that faffing about. And these are actually a bit better as well because you've got the sturdiness and the support from the builder gel. Whereas like normal gel extensions are actually quite thin and flimsy. So yeah, this is literally it, guys. It's so easy. Do a thin layer of builder gel, then go with a small bead, fill in like you do an infill, and you have the most perfect set ever. So this is before I file and shaped them, and this is after.
So I seen everyone sharing how to make your own stickers with gel polish and saran wrap, and I'm just thinking like, whoever the fuck thought of that is a fucking genius. Excuse my language. But so I was like, let me give it a try because my nails are always crazy. The design always takes me forever. So this way it saves me time with my clients. That way they're not sitting here forever. And you know how your clients always think that they're sitting still and they're really not? They're breathing, they're blinking, they're texting, they're doing all this shit that makes their hands move. So then you can never get like a good line or a crisp line. This way, no one's moving. You're doing it yourself. And boom, it looks exactly like I just did it on that nail. Like, what? Let me find out who did this. Who started this?
If I could go back in time, here are 5 tips I would give myself as a beginner nail tech when learning to do nail art. Get a high quality set of brush liners in various different lengths, and yes, quality does make a huge difference. This is the 15mm liner brush from Art Pro, and I actually purposely like to bend them like this. I find that it's a lot easier to control when doing lines in Frenchies. Number 2 tip is that the harder the pressure you apply, the thicker your line will be. I'm drawing this purple rainbow looking nail art design on this nail, and you'll see how when I apply more pressure, the lines get thicker. Number 3 tip is to use super pigmented gels that aren't too thick. It will make your art look so much more precise. A lot of the gels that are super thick but not pigmented enough leave your art looking streaky, and it's super hard to control. You'll end up with bulky looking nails because you'll need to go back for several coats, and it's just not cute. Number 4 tip is, yes, hold your breath when doing certain details. Yes, it's a real thing, and I'm not ashamed of it. I will also tell my clients that they need to put their phone down, and I get really quiet because I need them to also not start chatting with me. Lastly, practice makes perfect. Most of us have shaky hands when we first start because our hands and our fingers aren't used to having to use a brush, and that muscle naturally won't be as developed. But if you practice every day, your hands will develop a steadier muscle, and over time, things get a lot easier.
Nail hack for beginner nail tech. If you don't know how much you need to thin out the nail C curve, mark the tip first. Then using medium safety bit, angle it 30 degrees. Tag it, keep tag it until it looks even and thin. It's easier to see how even and how thin the nails with marker on. Follow to know more. Nail hack. Put some nail glue and stick one on your nail clipper.
That would be the best therapy for me.
Now all the nails are the same length. It saves so much time. Love it.
I don't know about y'all, but I've always struggled with zebra print since I've started doing nails. So here's a little hack I learned. So what you want to do is create a line with a wider center that slims out on both ends of that line. And you want to stack these lines pyramid style, so left, right, center. These lines do not have to be straight. Add some curve to them, and once you're done, it should look like this. Thank me later. Bye.
For my girls who love acrylic flowers, I have a very simple hack for you. You see how easy I'm getting these acrylic flowers off? Before you do your 3D flowers, put a top coat over it. It also helps when you mess up. It's so easy to take it off and do it again. For my girls,
7 things I wish I knew as a beginner nail tech. Let's retouch my makeup while we talk about it. First things first, before you even start thinking about complex designs, cute Frenchies, 3D flowers, all this stuff, get your base down and get your filing down. You can have some beautiful art, but if the nail is all bumpy, that design will not stand out. Number 2, do not rely on your electric nail drill. You can get such a good and crisp shape with a simple regular file, and it's even a little easier. Number 3, do not overspend on acrylic colors. Instead of wasting your money on a whole bunch of acrylic colors, which you probably won't use more than like 3 times, if I'm being honest, invest in good quality gel polishes. These can be brands like D&D, Valentino, Dynamic Nail Supply. There's even some good ones on Amazon like Beetles. It's more convenient to just get gel polishes. That being said, invest in good files. If you get little skinny files that bend super easily, it's gonna take you forever to file. I use the Panda ones from Amazon and they're fabulous. Number 5, the key to retention is not only a good prep, but a good primer. Invest in a good primer. That will change your retention so quick. To gain more clients on your social media, you need to grow your social media. Post consistently. As many nail pics as you can on Instagram. Even if you don't like them, post them, because chances are you don't like them but somebody else does. What you want is clients. Don't be picky about the designs you get in the beginning. Just get your clientele down. And finally, this one is the most important one. If you are ever having days where you just feel so down and you don't feel like you're getting anywhere with your business, or you don't feel like you're improving in your nail work, think of a nail tech that you look up to, whether it's in your area or just in general, and go to their Instagram and scroll down. And no, not to their post from last week. Scroll all the way down to the very, very bottom of their page until you find their first couple of posts. Look at them and realize we all started where you are as a beginner. None of us nail techs were born knowing how to do nails. We all went through the frustration, the anger, the stress. Do that anytime you're feeling down, gives you a little confidence boost. I hope you learned a couple things or got some motivation to keep going. Let me know if you guys want any other tips or tricks. Bye guys.
Hey friends. Okay, I'm about to show y'all how to do the 3D design on the whole nail and also on French tip, but pretty much make sure you get a good amount at the top and then just kind of like go quick at the bottom so it like kind of thins out. And then with the French tip, I use a brush. Again, I start off like with a thick amount at the top and then just spread it quick. I feel like the slower you go, the thicker the line is. But you can, like, if it's too thin, you can always go in and make it a little bit thicker, but pretty much that's how I do it. I do feel like the trick is to flash cure after every nail so it doesn't spread out and get super thick.
Oh my god, what is that? Why is my acrylic not setting to the nail? Hi, if you don't know me, my name is Bethany. I've been a licensed nail tech for 14 years in the state of Illinois, and I have a couple of reasons why this could be happening. So she said she will never be using me as secret ever again, but I've even had that happen with my ride or die. First big reason could be the temperature in your room is too cold. Acrylic needs to be kept at between 68 and 72 degrees to correctly polymerize. Second reason, unfortunately, either your monomer or your polymer powder is expired. Expired products will not correctly polymerize when they are mixed together and can cause it to completely peel off the nail like that. Another big reason that a lot of people don't really know either is humidity. Humidity is a big factor in your acrylic products correctly polymerizing. Always double check the weather for the day. Adjust your thermostat at least an hour and a half before your first client. Always double check the expirations. This is 12 months after opening. And if you do live in a warmer climate or if it's just summer, invest in a dehumidifier. I hope these tips and tricks help, but if you have any other questions, leave them in the comments.
Tips on how to become faster as a nail tech. I am in no way saying I am Lightning McQueen, I'm not Speedy Gonzalez, anything like that. But however, I have noticed over the past month I have sped up quite a little bit. To the point where sets used to take me 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, and I've now managed to get them down to, depending on the art obviously, but anything from an hour to an hour and 15 minutes. So here's some tips that I think you might find helpful. Number 1, it comes with time. You will get faster the more you're used to it, the more you're used to your routine, the more you're used to the products you're using. It's just practice, and unfortunately you can't speed that up. But the second thing is 100% your setup. For example, I will check which client I have in and what service they are wanting and if they have sent me a inspo picture beforehand. And I'll get everything set up. That includes making sure the files are ready. I have the builder gel out that they use, and I will set everything up in order of how I will use them so I can just grab and go.
Here's part 2 on how to get faster as a nail tech. One of the biggest things I think that people do is pre-shape. If you're already cutting the coffin shape or the almond shape, do not pre-shape. You're going to put acrylic on top and you're going to have to shape anyway, so why are you doing double the work? Have everything close by, uniform your drawers to know where everything is so you don't have to be looking through them while you're working. That wastes time. Other thing, have your client have a design in mind. Don't let them come to your appointment and not know what the heck they want. Have breakfast and food in your system. This is going to give you the most energy. Forget coffee, forget Red Bull, forget all of that. You need food in your system to work quick. Another thing that has helped me is having the colors already out on a palette for my first client for the rest of the day so I don't have to pour out nail polish again on my art palette. Time yourself. Let yourself know when you're supposed to be shaping, putting the tips.
Okay, so today I'm going to show you guys how I achieve the crescent moon or C-curve look on the free edge of your nail to make it look crispy. So I like to start off with a 5-in-1 bit and start filing at the free edge of the nail, going in at an angle. This will be hard to explain as I am using a bit rather than a file to show you my angles, but as you can see, the side view is slanting at an angle. I also love to go underneath as well and get rid of some of that thickness because I noticed that once I go in with the file to straighten it out, it'll look crispier. And the reason why I always do go in with the file afterwards is because the 5-in-1 bit is not a straight bit, so this just helps straighten it out, as well with making the moon cut less intense. So here I am. I'm going to show it to you guys a couple more times. I am going in with the bit at an angle to where when you look at your nail from the side, it does look slightly slanted. Again, just thinning out underneath to make it easier to really give it a super crisp look once you go in with the file. It does look crispy already as is, but I promise the bit is not straight, so the file will help straighten it out. With the file, I do love going in less of an angle because I don't like a super intense C-curve. Then here I am again at a slight different angle. As you can see, I'm kind of taking in more from the top rather than the bottom of the nail to give it that slant look. Here is another angle from my thumb. The thumb, I kind of didn't go in at an angle too crazy, but that's because I feel like I have more control with the hand file on my thumb because it's wider than the rest of my nails. And then here I am just slightly straightening it out so the C-curve isn't super intense. But this is how you get super crispy looking nails, just adding that slight C-curve on the free edge of your acrylic nails.
Okay, so the reason why I put this little sticker thingy in the back of the nail form before I put it on my nail like that, so it's going to be like this. Reason number 1, it makes the form a little more sturdy. Reason number 2, I have flatter nails, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't curve. It's kind of more like meh. Having that back there helps the nail form stay a little more flat for my nails rather than it caving in and being like curved, because that's not how my nails are shaped.
So this is a great question. So as you can see here, my bottle does not have a nozzle. So when pouring liquids, there's a chance that you can waste a lot of product. So in order to avoid that, this little trick with a brush allows a direct stream into the container. This gives you easy pouring and no wasted product.
So these are things that you need to know if you're a beginner nail tech and that most beginner nail techs probably won't know. So you've just bought a pack of nail files. There is something you need to do before you can use these. So this is called seasoning a file. You're going to want to get another file on the file that you're going to use, and you're going to run across all the edges like this until it doesn't feel sharp. And you're going to want to do this so it doesn't cut your skin or the client's skin. This is my drill bit graveyard. Any nail file that you purchase, you're going to get like standard bits like this. The only bit you're going to want to keep is the sanding band bit, because that is the only useful one. All these will go blunt super quick. It's going to take you so much longer. Like, I remember using this to debulk a fucking nail. No. Bin these. Throw these straight in the bin. You're going to need a bit like this to debulk. Now that is for acrylic only. If you're wanting to debulk gel, or not debulk, just take off the top layer before soaking them off, for example. If it's just gel polish, this one would be great for taking off the top coat for gel to remove them. And then you've got the sanding band bit, and then you're only going to really need a cuticle bit. So, and obviously, you're going to need a bit to seal the cuticle. This one's a bit dirty because I used it, but yeah, this one's good. This one's from Shein. They don't need to be super expensive, But sometimes cheap ones don't work properly. Like some off Shein, I got a couple, they vibrated way too much in the drill. So the second thing is, not every brand will work for you. And by that I mean, as a beginner, you're going to need to try like 2-3 brands probably before you find a brand that is going to work for you. The consistency of the brand's going to work for you, everything. So I went through Nail Nails, Glitter Bells and Glitterama, which is what I use now. And this is the brand that I constantly repurchase from now because it works for me. It helps me cut down on time. So if you try out a brand, and this goes for anything, acrylic gel, gel paints, anything, you're going to have to probably go for a couple before you find one that works for you.
If you use dip powder on your nails, please let me change your life. I put it on my acrylic nails. I love it. It's just become my routine. This is my holy grail, the Nail Boo Lucky Lime. Anyway, I didn't know this until I actually saw a Nail Boo video the other day, and it literally, I felt really stupid and also really happy simultaneously, because I would put it on and it would be like really thick and I would have to file them down for ages, and it was really annoying and I would literally dread it. So what I learned is, number one, very thin layer of base. I'm talking like wipe it off on the edges, very, very thin layer before you go in. Number two, this is the best part. For the first layer, you don't put the base all the way down to the cuticle. You leave a little space and wait to do that for the second application. Are you kidding me? I was having to file my cuticle area for centuries. Ugh. Maybe I'm the only one who didn't know this, I don't know, but if you didn't know this and you know this now. Side note, no matter how many coats of this I do, the powder, it's never quite thick enough and the color's never dark enough as I want. So I use this on top after, and that's how I get my signature green nails. Okay, love you, bye!
When doing French nails, you don't want to use short liner brushes like these. Instead, you want to use longer ones. After my client washes their hands, I go in with top coat before doing the French design. With the applicator from the gel polish bottle, I apply a little bit at the tip of the nail. I then apply gel polish on my liner and wipe off some of the excess off. I do 2 lines at the side of the nail, kind of bringing them in towards the center of the nail tip. I then flick my brush at the center of the nails, going from side to side to try to create an oval. I keep doing that back and forth until I feel like the French is even. I also always check by flipping my client's hand over. It's way easier to see if it's even this way, and if it's not, I just go back in and fix it a little bit. I usually do 2 coats of the color, and then I go in with top coat again. But hold on guys, we're not finished yet. Sometimes after doing the gel design, the shape doesn't look as crisp, so I go back in with my file, and it just brings that shape back.
How to use your bit the correct way. Don't. Correct. Don't. Correct. Don't. Correct. Don't. Correct.
Hey girlies, if you guys are new to the nail community and your brush is still getting a little clumpy from all the acrylic, I have a trick that I've been using for almost 2 years, and it's helped my brush stay clean. What you want to do is clean out all your acrylic from the brush right after you stop applying acrylic on your client. Next, you're just going to grab your preferred cuticle oil and slather that all on the tip of your brush. This is going to act like conditioner, and it's going to keep your brush looking healthy and clean for years. It also saves you a lot of money. Let me know if this worked out for you.
In this video, I'll show you how to do beginner-friendly marble nail art. Start with 2 coats of any base color and fully cure. Lay out the colors of your choosing on a palette. I like doing a light, medium, and dark shade. Apply a layer of blooming gel or base coat and don't cure. Line each color up right next to each other and scoop it up on an ombre brush. Do squiggles on the nail until you get the desired look. You can add extra stripes of a color if you feel like there isn't enough contrast. Cure it for 60 seconds, top coat, and you're done.
Goodbye.
Let's do an acrylic removal in 3 minutes. My client asked me to be extra careful cause her nails are usually really weak during removals. But she's never gotten one done by Rosie Nailed It, my favorite soak-off bowl. Make sure to add hot water at the base. Then add pure acetone into the finger spaces. Now time to drill down this acrylic. The key to easy soak-offs is to drill down the acrylic as thin as possible without reaching the natural nail. So take your time on this part and do not apply heavy pressure when drilling. Also, switch between nails to avoid your client's nail plate from getting hot. And I like to focus on the center of the nail where the apex is, since that's the thickest part of the acrylic. Let them soak. Reminder, good quality acrylic should never be gummy or difficult to remove. Gently scrape off the acrylic. Let the acrylic slide off and do not tug at it if it doesn't come off easy. And repeat the soak off until there's no more acrylic. Follow up with a manicure. Or prep for a new set if your client prefers. My client wanted to grow out her nails, so we're keeping it natural today. Either way, make sure to buff off the nail plate of any residue. Gorgeous. How'd I do?
Why am I getting this notch in the side of my nail like this? This is caused because you're filing into the nail. It's angled in. Instead of filing straight up and down like this and then straight parallel like that, you've got it angled into the nail so that when you file, you're creating that notch. This is going to cause a structurally weak nail.
Stop buying spider gel and let me show you how to make your own. The first thing you're going to need is an empty jar. Go to the link in my bio to get these gel-safe containers. Then you're going to add your favorite gel color. And most importantly, we're going to need some Mod Podge. I'm using the water-based matte. We are going to start by adding just one little dot and giving it a good mix. Add one dot at a time because if you add too much, it's going to clump up a lot. With the perfect consistency, you're going to see that your gel stretches. That's what you need. If your gel stretches without breaking, you hit it right on the dot. That would allow you to do so many designs. Now, if you're struggling to make straight lines, this is perfect for you. Pick up some spider gel and just make sure you work really slow so your gel won't break. I feel like that's the main tip here. So now you know how to make your own spider gel. Just change up the gel color and you have endless combinations. Now that was so easy. Go ahead, give it a try.
Hey guys, I just wanted to show how I do my spider gel application. If you don't know what spider gel is, it's basically gel polish that they formulate to be a little thicker so you can basically do what I'm doing in this video, wrap it around the nail. And it's really simple. You just take a dotting tool and you dip it and you do exactly as I'm doing in this video. You wrap it around in any way you like, really. That's why I love this design. There's no right or wrong way to do it. There's no specific order I'm doing this in or anything. I'm just doing it until I feel like it looks how I want it to look. And this is why it's called spider gel, by the way, because it's meant to resemble a spider web. And if you want to find this spider gel, it's linked in my Amazon storefront. The full set of nails. These nails were really cute. We did like a freestyle, and all the nails had a different design. I did this chunk nail that I really, really love. This was probably my favorite nail besides the spider nail. It's just so pretty. But yeah.
Okay, y'all, so today we're going to get into how to prep with nail biters. The thing with nail biters is their cuticles are very overgrown and very resistant. So you do want to start with the cuticle pusher. Next, I'm going to go ahead with a fine or medium grit sanding band, whichever one is your preference. I have mine at a speed of 4,000 RPMs, very, very slow, so that I'm not over processing the nail plate. As you can see, I am removing some of the dead skin that's along the side walls with this bit, as well as around the cuticle area. I also like to use my sanding band to remove some of the dead skin that's on the sides of the finger. Now I'm going to use that micro taper cuticle bit from stingbeauty.com to go ahead.
Are your nail sets taking way too long to do? Around 2 to 3 or maybe even 4 hours? If so, I have some tips and tricks for you that could help you save some time. So usually for me, it depends on what the client wants, but I try to aim for around 1:30 to 2 at most. And what really helps me is asking them for their inspo beforehand and also asking them what shape and length that they'd want. This helps a lot because then you can pull out everything you'll need for a set. So for instance, if a client sends in a chrome inspo, you're going to have your chrome pulled out beforehand so that once the client is in your chair, you're not busy digging for your chrome. This saves me around 10 to 20 minutes sometimes because I don't know about you, but my nail stuff is all over the place. So it's always best to be prepared beforehand and laying everything out so that once your client comes in, it will be a fast, quick appointment. So yeah, I hope this helps.
If you are a nail tech, you need to get one of these, and I'm going to show you what it is. So this is a drill bit cleaner. Pretty much you have a dirty bit that's filled with like crud, it's filled with gel, filled with acrylic, and you can't get it out right. This has like brass, like metal teeth, and then it has like a set of soft like toothbrush teeth. You pretty much take it and you put it in here and you literally scrub to get all your crubs out. I'm going to show you how it looks afterwards. Okay, look at this bit right here. This bit looks brand new. I'm telling you, get one of these. You won't be disappointed. I'm going to go ahead and link it in my Amazon storefront.
Let me show you how to master your chrome application in 2 ways. So first, you're going to put it directly on an acrylic nail. I go through and I buff the entire nail and then I wipe it with alcohol. Next to your design, I'm using this black gel polish that you can apply chrome directly to it without a top coat. And then rubbing a lot of chrome on there with a makeup sponge. And then whenever I want to get the chrome off and isolate it, I use a clean end of the makeup sponge, the part where there's no chrome, and it simply just comes right off. You can see how there's like no other chrome residuals laying around. And then even after top coat, you can see how clean that is. So this is the way to do it on an acrylic nail. And then the way to do it on gel polish is I take a lint-free wipe and I wipe the nail twice with acetone. Like 2 separate lint wipes and 2 separate runs of acetone. And then I do my design again with the same black gel polish, and then I rub my chrome on, and then you use the clean side of the makeup wedge and wipe it off. You can see how clean it is. You can go in with like some acetone and clean up anything that sticks, worst case, but usually this is the way I do it and I have flawless results, as you can see. Hope this helps. Bye.
So I'm going to show you guys how I did this design. So to start off, I like to wipe my nails clean with acetone and prepare them for the design. This is the gel that I used to do the 3D effect, and I just squeeze out the tube straight onto the nail and obviously place it where I want it, how I want the design to look. And then I get my client to cure her hand for 30 seconds. Then I go ahead and apply some black gel polish over the clear and that space in between, and I cure this for 60 seconds. You can use any chrome really, but this is the one that I use, and I just buff it in and then turn the sponge over and buff it again, and then aggressively dust off all the dust and of course put a super shiny top coat. And yeah, I hope that helps. So I'm going to show you guys
trying the new ombre trend with a twist. Apply side by side the colors of choice. Complementing colors gives better results. Blend the 2 colors with a light hand and cure. I applied a second coat of gel to hide the red acrylic. Blend and cure. Once again, apply colors side by side, but this time on opposing sides. Blend but don't cure. Using a clean flat brush, Go across the nail from end to end in one stroke. Cure when you are satisfied with the final look. Finally, apply top coat and do a full cure. What do you think? Would you like to try this?
All nail techs try this hack out. This works best with short to medium length. This was my client's desired length. Once I cut the tip, I kept a hold of the other end. As we've already measured out, it fits on perfectly onto the other hand as well. This hack saves you time and resources.
Hi, I'm going to show you guys how I do my marble ombre. I start off by applying blooming gel to the nail tip. With the blooming gel still wet, I apply my gel polishes that I wanted to use and I swirl it out. Once cured, I go over it with some clear acrylic. This helped me get a very seamless blend for my ombre. When doing any ombre, you have to make sure to encapsulate the design so it doesn't get ruined when filing. I already shaped the nail. I'm just applying my top coat. I really enjoyed making this video. If you guys have any other ideas, let me know.
Hi babes, so for today I'm going to show you guys how to create this super simple awful chrome set of nails. Now first things first, we're going to do our acrylic base color. I am doing clear, but you can do black, you can do nude, or you can do clear like me. I decided to do clear because I hadn't done an all clear set of nails in a while, so this was definitely fun to do. And I am doing the 3-bead method. I promise I am working on doing my application video for you guys, so it'll be uploaded real soon. But yeah, anyways, after our application, we are going to file and buff our nails. And this part is so crucial because I am telling you, the chrome will expose you of any flaws that you may have left when you're filing your nails. So make sure it's nice and smooth. So yeah, now we're going to go in with one thin coat of black gel polish. I am using the Brother Cosmetics Ultra Black. And like I said, we're going to do thin coat. So this is my first coat. And as you can see, it's already super pigmented. And you want to make sure you're covering your whole nail. So I like to take a little thin liner brush and I just go as close as possible that I can get to the cuticle area. And this literally makes my coverage look amazing. Then we're going to cure for 60 seconds and make sure that you nor your client touch the nail at all because we are going to use that like tackiness for the chrome. So yeah, just get your chrome powder and then just rub it on with your little application brush. This part is super easy. And then after, we're just going to dust it all off with a soft brush, apply top coat. And here are the finished results. I hope you guys love this video. Now you know how to do chrome.
One thing I have noticed with a lot of beginners is that when they're working with acrylic, they do this like painting motion like this. Do you see how the bristles are opening up? We need to ensure that our bristles are always closed. So instead, always keep your brush parallel to the nail angle, which means you're going to be doing this. This is called swiping, or you're going to be doing this. This is called patting. And you're going to notice how the bristles, they stay closed. Nobody wants to open up. But if you start doing this and you start holding your brush perpendicular to the client's nail, unfortunately, you are going to get clogging.
This is something I wish I knew as a beginner nail tech, how to break in your new brush. As you can see from my old one, it really helps to know how to do this. And here's how I broke in mine. Doing this to the bristles to remove that coating. Then I'm using some alcohol and wiping the brush back and forth in that. Then I soak the brush with some warm water to soften up the bristles. Then doing the same thing in some monomer to remove any bubbles. And as you can see, there were a few. My brush came already crimped, so then I just molded it to how I would like it. Then I used a bit of cuticle oil just to help hold the shape a lot better. And yeah, just molding it till I get the shape I like. And as you can see from my old brush, I was definitely due an upgrade. But yeah, like and follow for more nail content.
So I'm going to show you guys how to take care of your acrylic brush. So I use size 18. This is Panda brush. You can find it on Amazon. It's also in the link in my bio. You can find it on my Amazon storefront. So every time I'm done with the acrylic application, I just put some monomer in my dappen dish. And just make sure to wash it just like this. So this is only for when you feel like there isn't much acrylic left over in your brush. And I just wipe it really good. And that should be enough. And then I just keep it aside for the next client. And if you feel like there's a lot of acrylic left over in your brush, I put some monomer in there and then I put a little bit of acetone as well. I do not measure. Don't ask me about ratio. I just do maybe 60 to 40, 60 being the monomer. And I drop my brush in there. You can like let it hold and put it right here. And I just leave it about 20 minutes to 30 minutes. And then I take it out, do the same thing. Make sure there's no acrylic left over on your brush. And then I put it aside and it's ready for your next client.
In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I clean my brushes. When I first started out, I didn't understand liquid to powder ratio. I always messed up my brush and I always had to get new ones. So here's a quick trick on how to save your brush. And it's really, really simple. All you want to do is just take your brush and leave it in monomer for about 10 minutes. Eventually, the monomer is going to soften up the acrylic and you will be easily able to scrape it off. If that doesn't work, you want to go ahead and soak up your brush in 100% pure acetone. This is going to soften up the acrylic from the brush and allow it to be removed easier. I usually take my fingers or a cuticle pusher to remove the acrylic. Also letting you guys know that you don't want to do this a lot because it will dry up your brush. So you just want to soak it up in monomer. It's going to hydrate the bristles and revive your brush once again. For nail art brushes, you either want to use alcohol or nail polish remover. I'm using the same bottle because I don't want to waste it, but I hope this helps.
Hey guys, today I'm going to be covering how to pick the right polygel brush. So up first, I'm going to be showing you the typical dual-ended brush that is advertised everywhere. Okay, so this brush is perfect for beginners if you're just trying to figure it out. Typically smaller brushes, they offer better control, so it'll be just perfect for you. And also this size is perfect for tiny details and to get into little tiny crevices. All right, it's also perfect for the girlies that are into polygel overlays. Since you're not really working on too much surface area, you're not really going to need too much of a bigger brush. And remember, the spatula is used to scrape off the excess polygel, okay? So right now, I'm just going to show you a picture of the polygel overlay. As you can see, you're just covering the natural nail bed, all right? Up next, I'm going to be showing you an acrylic brush that I got from Keds on Amazon. You guys, this is a Kolinsky brush, size 10. It is a dual-ended brush, so it has the spatula on the bottom. You guys, this brush is beautiful. It is perfect for the girlies that are into extensions and long nails. All right, so typically larger brushes, they are ideal for larger surface areas. They provide more coverage and you'll have a faster application process. Okay, so there you go. Now you know that smaller brushes are for beginners, polygel overlays, tiny crevices, etc., and larger brushes are for more advanced polygel nail techs and for larger surface areas. Okay, so that's it for my video, you guys. Bye.
Hello, let's talk about why your acrylic brush shape matters. So we've all been there. We've had a brush that looks like this. It's a little crusty, it's a little wide, it don't be doing anything anymore. Versus a brush that is semi-pointed at the tip. It is giving what it needs to give. It allows you to tuck the acrylic into the cuticle area and the sidewalls. As you can see here, I am nicely, gently patting it down, tucking the acrylic into the cuticle area as well as the sidewalls that you can see here. With the brush being semi-pointed, it will never get to that weird wide point because I have literally developed it that way. The main thing is you want hella retention, and that's why I made the brush semi-pointed so you can get the most flush cuticle application ever. It's linked in my bio under the Babe Bar shop. I'll see you next time. Bye!
How I break in my brushes and make it last forever. When you get a new brush, it basically comes with a plastic film around it. That is what we are trying to get rid of. I'm going to start off with some alcohol, and we're just going to swipe it around the paper towel. And then I try to push that product outwards too. Now we go in with some monomer and basically repeat the same process. Now crimping is optional, but I really like to do it. My brush is more flat. I just repeat the same process again and make sure to shape. Shaping is key. So I've had my size 8 Pana brush for about 2 years, and I know it's really hard as a beginner to keep your brushes nice and clean, so if you want some more tips, please let me know. Also, please store your brushes sideways, not facing up like this.
So I've had quite a few people ask me how I have sped up with my sets and how I've gotten my time down and everything. So I'm going to go over just a couple tips that I've used that have helped me speed up. So my biggest tip is going to be to just know what your clients want before they get to their appointment. So have them send you their inspo, their length, their shape, and everything so you can have the colors out, the gems, the box of tips that you need, all of that, because that makes everything so much quicker. You don't have to sit there and wait for them to decide what they want, and
you know, figure out what colors you need and what you need, like how you're gonna do it, because you'll already know prior to their appointment. So my next biggest tip is to have something like this next to your desk or on your desk. I have my Extend Gel, my top coats, my dehydrator and primer here, and then I have all of my top coats and base coats that I use, so I can just literally grab them and go. So I don't have to like sit there and go through my drawers and find what I need. So it's all like really easily accessible, and everything is normally in order of like how I need to use it. It's a little messy right now, but that's a really helpful tip too. So regarding like prep work, I always use the same bits, and I use my cuticle pusher and my cuticle nipper, so I lay them all out in front of me under like the hand rest, so I can just grab them, and they're all like in order. I also keep a little dapping dish of like my most used bits here, so after I like clean them, I put them back in here so I can just grab them out of there. I don't have to go through like a box of them or a package or whatever to find the ones that I need. And with like cuticle work, that will come with time too. That used to take me like 30 to 45 minutes alone, so that was a lot. Now it takes me like 10 maybe. It just depends on how rough the cuticles are, because sometimes I have to work on them a little bit. And then with application and prepping the tips, I used to use like 2 different bits with them sealing the cuticles. I only use a sanding band now. Yeah, I mean, it's really just, it comes with time. Application used to take me forever. Now it takes me a couple of minutes. That's also just going to come with time. So those are things that as you do them more, it will definitely start to speed up. But I think it's important to just have a routine of how you do it every single time, so that you're just repeating the same steps over and over. That will help you speed up. I was hard on myself for a while too, like I felt like I wasn't speeding up, but as time goes by, you'll kind of notice that you're speeding up a little bit. And then nail art does take me anywhere from like an hour to 2 hours sometimes. It just depends on the complexity. That you'll get faster at that too as you do more designs and stuff. So I'm running out of time, but I hope this was helpful for you guys.
Nail hack you should know. I always have bunch of sketch marks after filing. How to make the nail smooth like this? I'm going to use the dehydrator. Apply it all over the nail. Then using fine buffer, buff the nails until it's smooth. Dehydrator will help you save so much time when you buffing. And here is the result. Let me know if you want to try this nail hack.
When I'm sizing tips, what I'm looking for is that the tip will cover the nail completely from side to side and there's no openings or gaps. Using a fast dry nail glue is going to help prevent air bubbles and also make the application a little bit faster. I press it down for about 3 to 5 seconds and make sure that there's no openings on the sides. This specific finger was a little bit crooked, so you can see I'm aligning the nail tip with her knuckle to make sure that it gives the appearance of a straight nail. And notice how far down I placed the nail tip. I really want most of the nail to be covered with acrylic, not plastic. Once all of my nail tips are placed on, now I'm ready to start cutting them. I like to use a nail form that I have folded just to make sure that all of the nail tips are going to be the exact same length. I press the nail form up against the nail tip with my finger and then I can cut in a straight line. When I cut the nail tips, you'll notice it doesn't come out completely straight, which that's fine because I do go in and start filing them afterwards. I hold the tip while I'm filing side to side just to make sure that the nail tip isn't moving with the file. This is going to give you the straightest edge possible. Once your nail tips are all shaped and the same length, then you can now move on to doing your prep. Apply primer and then go to part 3 for application.
Hey y'all, what's up? Come along with me and watch me struggle per usual because I just make everything so much harder on myself than I need to. For instance, moving this whole entire desk when I could have took it apart and moved everything off of it. This is going to be a series of unfortunate events, y'all. Part 1 was the desk being a freaking struggle to move. Part 2 was taking the film up before vacuuming because then all the nail dust just came off of it and went into the carpet and defeated the purpose. This is the next part. Y'all, the plastic just kept freaking sticking to itself. It was driving me nuts, y'all. I was literally struggling. And by the time I started laying the plastic, I already had attitude because everything else was pissing me off. And then look, y'all. Lo and behold, I run out of plastic. Anyways, I took a deep breath and just ordered it and got next day shipping for free from Amazon. And I came into it with a way positive attitude today and just thought smarter, not harder. I took the whole desk apart, moved everything off of it, and, just made it easier on myself because why was I trying to do all that and be so difficult? But yeah, today went so much more smoother and I feel like I manifested that positivity onto myself because I just had a positive mindset whenever I started. Yesterday, not the same circumstances. But yeah, anyways, as an at-home nail tech or a work-from-home nail tech, whatever you want to call it, I gotta do what I can to make sure this carpet is staying fresh and clean as much as possible because I'm not about to have no dingy ass carpet and I want to get my deposit back. Most importantly. So yeah, whenever I first moved, I discovered this little plastic film stuff. It's on Amazon. It's called Zip Up Products Film Carpet Protectant Cover or something like that. I don't know. If you want to search it up, it'll pop up. You'll find it. It's not that hard. But yeah, y'all. Then this dresser, this drawer, whatever you want to call it, was giving me the hardest freaking time trying to push it on this carpet. I stubbed my freaking toe and y'all, it hurt so bad I was about to cry. But I checked on it. It wasn't no blood, so it was all cool. It was all good. Mom didn't raise no, you know what? So we got back to it. And nail tech hack, use your nail glue to fix everything possible. Just kidding. Kind of. But yeah, y'all, that was it. I highly recommend this stuff because from past experiences, having that nail dust and those nail tips and stuff sticking into the carpet, it be having me sneezing and sniffling all the time and it don't be great,
Big advice for new nail technicians. I'm going to show you the difference between the 5-in-1 safety bit, which is on my right, and then the purple carbide bit on my left. The purple carbide bit is not recommended for new nail technicians that, in fact, are not used to using a nail drill because it is for professional use only. But obviously, if you are skilled in using the drill, then yeah, go ahead and use it to your liking. But this purple carbide bit is very sharp. It's used for sealing a cuticle, debulking, cutting down, cleaning the undersides, removing gel polish. And if you run this into your client's finger, you're going to cut them very, very bad and they're going to be very upset. Then again, we have the 5-in-1 safety drill bit, which is beginner friendly, highly, highly, highly recommended. If you bump this into your client's skin on accident, do not fret. You do not have to worry. You will not cut your client. They will not start bleeding or anything. This one works just the same to seal the cuticle really nicely. Why it's important to seal the cuticle is because when the enhancement grows out, you want it to have a nice grow out with no gaps. You don't want any gaps because you don't want any water getting in there. You don't want them getting any fungus or anything yucky in any openings. So these are available on my website, wingnails.com. I want you to use a code.
Hey neighbors, in this video I am going to give you tips on how to cut down time. I get asked this question a lot, so pay attention. First things first is you want to get you a routine and stick to it. You can write it down or whatever, stick it somewhere, but get you a routine. What I like to do is, now on my booking site, the clients have to put an inspo pic unless it's a freestyle. If it's not a freestyle, they have to put an inspo pic. That way I will know what they're getting and what I have to lay out or whatever. So the day of their appointment before they come, I like to get everything out, all the tools I'm using, acrylics, gel polish, etc. Secondly, get you some pre-shape tips. Please, please, please. Free shape tips will help you. I promise you. I promise. Y'all know back then they only had square. They got pre-shape tips for almond, square, stiletto, everything. Thirdly, you need to learn your liquid to powder ratio. Heavy on learning liquid to powder ratio. So that way you will know how to pick up your beads. Application can be smooth. All that. Fourthly, talking. If you was a talker, it is okay to talk to your clients. I love that. I love to talk to my clients too. But it is to a certain point where you have to stop talking and focus, especially if you want to get done or pick up your speed or whatever. Or if your client is in a rush and they want to get up out of there, they don't want to stop yapping too. And it's okay to talk to your clients, like I said, but like, especially during designs and stuff, I like to get quiet. Like, I have talkative clients. I have some clients that don't like to talk, and that's fine with me because I have my moments where I don't talk really either. But especially during designs and stuff, I like to get quiet because that's go time, baby. It's time to focus. It's time to focus, okay? So I hope I was able to give y'all a little bit of tips. If y'all want to see any more videos, let me know in the comments.
Did you know there's a huge difference in the percentage of isopropyl alcohol that you use? 99% isopropyl alcohol is what you should be using as a nail tech. And there is a difference between 70%, 91%, and 99% isopropyl alcohol. Did you know that any isopropyl alcohol or IPA under 99% inactive ingredients may include glycerin, detergents, or perfumes? This is how they come up with the percentage of isopropyl alcohol. So the amount of IPA actually does make a difference. Anything under 99% isopropyl alcohol may actually leave a sticky residue on the nail. This is why you need 99% IPA when you're dealing with nail and nail products. So make sure that you have your bottles labeled and also that you're using a funnel to pour your IPA into your bottle so you're not losing any. And also make sure that you date your IPA so you know when you used it.
Here are 5 things I've learned being a nail tech. Number 1, when it comes to learning, you have to practice patience and you have to practice time. And I say this because you can go to a class, but at the same time, you have to put what you already know and what you learned from the class to work. And this runs me into number 2. Perfection takes time. You're not going to come into the nail game and just know it off the back. You're not. I mean, at the end of the day, this day and time is different. Y'all have so many things at y'all hand to make y'all work come out way much better than what it was a few years ago. Things change now. They have things in place for you. If you can't draw, they have 3Ds, they have stickers, simple as the nail tips. You have nail tips will come in the oval shape. You have nail tips will come in the squaretto, the stiletto. You have nail shapes will come in almond. You have nail shape of every shape. Back then, nail shapes was come in one size, one length, and you would have had to reshape those same nail tips all the time. This day and time, you all have everything at your hand. But at the same time, it still takes skills, patience, and time to get that acrylic application together. Because without the application, I don't care how pretty your designs is, I don't care how pretty the art is, your application is everything. And number 3, prices. Don't watch other people's prices. Your price have to match your work. How you want me charging me $80 and you know you frigging me up? It's okay to say, hey, I am an upcoming nail tech. I don't know what I'm doing as yet. I am practicing and I will charge you $25. I will charge you $30. I will charge you $40. But y'all won't go way up, way there so, and charging people like y'all know what y'all doing. You're not going to gain people's trust like that. Picture yourself going in somebody's chair who said they do hair and they mess you up. Like, you would not like that. So it's okay to be real. Some people will be okay with it and some people won't, and that's fine. Number 4, buying expensive nail brand products as a beginner. As a beginner, why would you buy expensive nail brand products if you are beginning? The product do not make the work. The talent and the skills is what brings the work. You have to be real with yourself and make it make sense, man. And number 5, do it because you love it. Don't just do it for the money. I mean, do it for the money too, but at least enjoy it. So it don't feel like it's a job, or so you don't feel like you don't want to deal with customers today. Because dealing with customers is a different set of topic. Do it because you love it, and that's what will show in your work. And that's what will make your clients return. And guess what, y'all? I have classes now. So click the link in my bio for more info. Thank you.
All right, you guys, that's it, and that's all. I hope you found value in this video. Well, yeah, in this video compilation. And I hope that you take the time out to visit some of these creators, their TikTok pages, their social media pages, because they offer quite a bit of advice. I wanted to make sure I showed as much or showcase as much creators as possible, because one thing I love is when creators and nail techs and professionals like to share what they have learned over the years. It's very important for us to share our knowledge so that we don't have clients that have bad experiences like the ones that I share on my channel. One thing I'm gonna always go back to is nails because I love it so much. I am still doing my series and all the things. I will always go back to nails though, because you know it's my thing. And if you are a nail tech, be sure to share some of your tips and tricks in the comments below. Like I said, this was a very long video. However, I just thought that it had so much great advice and tips, especially from different people that have tried different things. Every nail tech is different, and how we learn is completely different. So if somebody has gone through something that they have learned from, I think instead of us making mistakes, that it is a plus for us to learn from somebody else's mistakes. If they have learned shortcuts and ways around things that still do not mess with the integrity of our craft, our work, and such, I think it's really good to share. So I wanted to make sure I shared that information with you guys. And you guys, thank you so much always for being in the comments and commenting. I love to keep the conversation going. I love to comment. I love to showcase your tips. I always go back in there and I try to respond to you guys as soon as I can. If for some reason I miss your comment, I miss liking it, just know that I'm busy and I will come back and try to like the comment. But yeah, if you guys have any tips and tricks that we may have missed, and if you guys have any video ideas or anything else that you would like to see on this channel, please be sure to share it here. We're all about building everybody up. We're all about sharing tips and tricks. We're all about showcasing the people that need some help, okay? The people that need some help being professionals, the people that need some help in training, the people that didn't know how to do certain things. We want to show them how to do things on this channel. So I'll always go back to showcasing creators that I think bring value. So when I share a creator here, if I do share their information, it's because I want you to go back and support that creator. I do not want you to go back and stalk and be crazy and weird. Okay, don't do that. Do not do that. That's not what we do here. We go back and celebrate and thank creators and say, hey, you know, I'm here to support and I appreciate the value that you've brought from your channel. And I pray that my videos are bringing value to you guys. And like I said, if you have any ideas, tips or tricks or anything that you would like to share, be sure to put it in the comments. I'll try to get down there and get to it. But yeah, as always, guys, I appreciate you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to like, comment, share any video ideas that you would like to see. I'm still working on that series where I go from state to state, city to city. And because of the holidays, I may be slowed down just a little bit in creating videos and bringing them to you, just because that's the nature of the holidays. You know, I have a family, I have work, I have clients, I have all the things. So just be patient with me during the holidays, you guys. You know, I love you. And as always, again, thank you for clicking on another video. I appreciate you guys. Happy holidays. And like I said, I hope you had an amazing, relaxing Thanksgiving if you celebrate that. If you don't, I just hope that everything is amazing in your neck of the woods. And as always, guys, thank you. All right. See you in the next video.